All right, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're gonna be reviewing a video from Cali's Most Dangerous. This dude did a great video about the Big U situation. He got a lot of never before seen footage. Well, at least I haven't seen it before. He's connecting a lot of dots together. So I ain't gonna talk much longer. Let's check out the video and react to it.
Rico, you straight, homies, you straight. It's the Big U Rico. Yeah, everybody he messed with. They tied Cuz to that hot one, that little young nigga out there in Vegas. Comes up missing. You know. Bullet wounds. Pronounced dead at the scene. Body left in the desert.
And brands itself as a group that gives underprivileged kids.
So they were basically saying Big U got something to do with a young football player murder. They saying he had the young guy that was murdered. He had Big U's DNA under his fingernails, so that means the dude was fighting him, probably scratched Big U or something, and they found the DNA. Come on now.
Beyond gang violence. And now he's accused of taking money meant for that group.
In with that South LA man who the feds say used taxpayer money and donations to
Eugene Henley, also known in the streets as Big U, who was widely known as a legendary figure in hip-hop, a leader of the Rolling 60 Crips, and a self-proclaimed man behind a lot of Nipsey Hussle's rise, is now the target of a massive federal takedown, with authorities painting a chilling picture, accusing him of murder, kidnapping, racketeering, extortion, and fraud.
Search is on for the man they say has been heading up the local Crips gang for decades, Eugene Henley Jr. Investigators say he's been painting himself as an entertainment executive who's been giving back to the community with various charities. But they say in reality, he's a violent criminal, the leader of the Crips with a long list of crimes on his resume.
For years, Big U portrayed himself as a reformed OG who formerly participated in violent crimes with notorious neighborhood Rolling 60 Crips. But following his release from prison, he matured and started running nonprofits, charity events around the city, and mentorship programs to keep young youth away from the gang life. With a lot of people believing Big U was giving back to LA, a city he had taken so much from due to his violent past. But behind closed doors, it's alleged that Big U was a fucking demon. Run Los Angeles with deadly mafia-style tactics that involved pimping, extorting businesses and celebrities, with authorities claiming he was shaking down stars like Draymond Green and Shaquille O'Neal and funneling their donations straight into his pockets. Authorities also claim he was involved in major drug operations and brutal gang activities from him and his little homie that involved gang shootings, robberies, and multiple murders that included the death of a young football player in Vegas that Big U had close ties to, and a lot of other intense shit. But there even been rumors that he had a heavy hand in the death of Nipsey Hussle. Today, we're addressing all this and a lot more as we address Big U, his violent past, and his deadly attachment to the neighborhood Rolling 60 Crips, one of the most deadly gangs in Los Angeles. Yeah. All right. Welcome to Cali's Most Dangerous. Let's get into it. Chapter 1. Rayshawn Williams' murder and an investigation that followed. In order to explain exactly what's playing out now, it's essential that we go back at least 4 years. Particularly...
See, what I don't understand is these dudes in the streets, you making all this money per day, week, month, year. After a certain point, you rich, man. You beat the odds. You got money. You still getting money. Get out the game. Stop selling drugs. Stop killing people. Stop extorting people. Because this how it's going to end. You going to end with a bullet in you or your ass going to the grave. Simple as that. That's how it always ends. It never ends no other way.
In January of 2021, that month, Rayshawn Williams, a young aspiring rapper and former football player who grew up with Big U, was best friends with Big U's son, and was coached by him as a youth, was flown to Vegas from California in order to record some songs for his record label, Unique Music, a label owned by Big U. Initially, Williams was scheduled to travel to Las Vegas to record music at a Grammy Award-winning music producer studio. He was supposed to spend a week at the recording studio and record a song a day, but never recorded due to some internal issues that allegedly involved problems with the agreed-upon rate. So instead of recording the requested songs, Williams recorded a diss song about Big U. And in the diss song, Williams referred to Big U as, quote, bro that makes the money. With Williams also rapping that he himself might get shot in the face for thinking shit was funny. Lastly mentioning a 38 revolver with no trace. In addition to the diss song though, the situation gets a lot tricky because it's alleged that without the authorization of Big U, Williams directed the robbery of an unlicensed LA dispensary that had stopped making extortion payments. And on top of all that, he still refused to show up to the studio session. And when Williams didn't show up to the session on January 23rd, it's alleged that Big U took that as disrespect, causing Big U and his right-hand man to travel to Las Vegas to confront him about the song and a lack of effort in the studio. Once there, Big U asked Williams why he hadn't shown up to the studio. But Williams claiming that he didn't have a ride. A confidential informant who was with Williams said, "You've got mail." I believe that Williams was wasting time, therefore disparaging Big U's name and the Big U Enterprises reputation, and potentially flouting that disrespect with the lyrics of the diss song. All these elements caused a lot of tension between the two and led it to Big U picking up Williams, driving him to a spot in North Las Vegas, and shooting Williams before dragging his body off Interstate 15 into the desert and leaving him in a ditch. Later that night, at around 3 a.m., Big U returned to the studio alone. With the witness, saying Big U appeared to be drenched in either sweat or water. And Big U's response was that he was coming back from the gym. In addition, while at the studio, Big U ordered studio workers to leave while his associates removed security or surveillance footage from the studio. Authorities believe that the footage would have showed an altercation between Big U and Williams the night of the killing. And, at minimum, Big U and Williams leaving the studio together shortly before Williams' murder. And hours later, on January 25th, at around 9 a.m., Williams' body was found in a ditch. He had died from multiple gun wounds, including several shots to the face, but no trace of any bullets or casings was near his body. So there wasn't too much evidence on who killed him, but authorities, they were able to collect DNA from Williams' body, which allegedly matched Big U's DNA profile. The result was inconclusive, but Big U could not be excluded as a suspect. So a month after Williams' death, the FBI LA Metropolitan Task Force on Violent Gangs launched an investigation into Big U's enterprise and his association with the Rolling 60s. Big U's daily...
See, it be that one little thing, that one murder, got his ass investigated. They found out his DNA was under the guy's fingernails. And that's the main thing that's bringing them down. But, like, what you do, like, this call it karma, what you put out gonna come back to you. Believe that. Now, dude finna get his karma. This kind of like reminded me of some Suge Knight type stuff right here. See what happened to Suge with serving a 28-year sentence? This guy probably gonna get life, because they talking about you the leader of the damn Rolling 60s. They gonna try to put you away forever. Hey, they probably gonna put his ass in a supermax out there in Colorado because he got a long reach and he can influence people. So yeah, dude going to the supermax. He ain't going to a regular California state prison. Dude finna be up there in the supermax with the worst criminals, the gang leaders, etc.
Ties to the Rolling 60s and his role as one of their leaders.
Welcome to 63rd Street, home turf of the Rolling 60s, part of the largest street gang in all of Los Angeles, a gang called the Crips.
What it means to the community, it means terrorism.
The neighborhood Rolling 60 Crips are one of the most notorious and hated gangs in Los Angeles, and for good reason too. This gang is one of the most shystiest, brutal, and scandalous gangs in Los Angeles, with more than a few intense stories attached to the gang's name.
What do you do that makes people feel different? We can walk into a place and that'll make people different, just knowing that it's Rolling 60. And what it carries behind it. Like, what does it carry behind it? It carries dirt, carries murder, carries whatever you want.
Because of these factors...
Man, these niggas are proud to be fucking degenerates, man. But y'all would do that and terrorize black communities. But when these cops, these racist cops, George Floyd, and the likes of do something, y'all niggas ain't nowhere to be found. But yet you so proud about destroying black community and black people. But when we need y'all niggas to step up on something real and you so gangster, you ain't nowhere to be found. Ain't now one of y'all niggas ran down on George Zimmerman. Ain't now one of y'all niggas ran down on the cop that kneeled on George Floyd's neck or his people. But a nigga walking by with a red shirt on, a blue shirt on, you finna roll on him. Hey, homie, where you from? You gonna check his temperature. Man, I'm so... Man, y'all niggas are amazing, man.
They have many members who've accumulated daily reputations throughout the city, including Big U. Big U, he's a known prominent figure when it comes to the Rolling 60 Crips and the overall neighborhood umbrella. Fuck that. This guy is known by pretty much every gang in Los Angeles. He's been respected since the 1980s. That's because starting from a young age, he put in a lot of work for the gang. It's a lot of stories that tell the tales of his notorious reputation, with some of them being a knockout artist while at the Waterwheel skating rink and while in jail during the 1980s. Some alleged murders in his early days, and robbing a lot of drug dealers as well. All these activities led up to his arrest in 1991, when he and a friend tried to rob an undercover sheriff's deputy of 33 pounds of cocaine. And after being convicted, he was sentenced to 13 years in prison. Now, for the most part, 13 years is more than enough time to start to turn a new leaf. And that's exactly what a lot of people thought he was doing. Because following Big U's release, he created a Hyde Park nonprofit called Development Options. And he marketed Development Options as giving South Los Angeles youth alternative choices to gang violence, drug, and other criminal activities. With Big U allegedly embezzled in large donations that celebrities and award-winning companies made to Development Options, which he immediately converted to his personal bank account.
Henley's most recent contract with the city shows a payment of nearly $800,000 due in July 2024, the final installment of a 4-year agreement that paid his groups more than $2.2 million for intervention. Between 2018 and 2023, LA Controller payment records show Henley's groups received around $500,000 a year. Then, in 2023, a significant increase. Looking at the tax records for the Ex-Offender Fellowship, which includes the city money and private donations, you can see its revenue went from around $500,000 a year to nearly $800,000, then to nearly $2 million for 2023, the last tax return available. Where was the money going? The tax returns show while Eugene Henley Jr. was paid $95,000 as president and director, nearly all the money collected went to compensate unnamed top staff members, including corporate officers, directors, and trustees. Henley diverted much of that money to his personal bank accounts, and the feds say he allegedly pocketed tens of thousands of dollars in donations intended for the groups, including a $20,000 contribution from an NBA All-Star.
On top of all that, though, Development Options was primarily funded through the City of Los Angeles Mayor's Office through the Gang Reduction Youth Development Foundation, also known as GRID, portions of which receive federal funding and also receive donations from prominent sources. But with the exception of a few community events, Big U Enterprises allegedly used Development Options as a front for fraudulent purposes and to insulate its members from suspicion by law enforcement, which honestly worked out for more than a few years. But everything came crashing down due to how Big U really was moving. What Big U really was up to? Rumors are reality. For years, Big U moved amongst the public with people perceiving him as a stand-up guy who was helping keep the youth out of trouble. But in reality, it's alleged and confirmed through a couple sources that Big U, he was a daily gang member who moved like a mob boss. Some of the first people who started to speak against Big U included Whack 100 and Loose Cannon, who had a couple words alleged that he had a heavier hand in Nipsey Hussle's death that they commented on a No Jumper interview.
Full conversation, you and Big U, about him telling you Nipsey is dead, and you calling Nipsey, he's still alive. Then 30 minutes later, he's dead.
But what you said was that he told you that he had already been killed.
Yeah, that's what he said.
But why? This is the thing that people have such a hard time believing. The idea that Big U would have been told about that and would not have intervened in some way or wanted to have been involved, given that we're literally talking about like basically the most high profile people from there.
Of course, the 600, also known as Christopher Lovejoy, who's been a legend that he was going to get caught up for a while now.
Your whole crew is rats, bro. Big, you called the pen, bro, and he got rats. His whole crew is rats on paperwork, on mainline to this day.
It's Nipsey Hussle's brother, Black Sam, who also alleged that Big U was a menace.
And from my understanding, no boy walked up with no shirt on first to check the scene because he know what's going on in that parking lot. And had a conversation, probably seen nobody was in the doorways, checked Hustle had on shorts, checked everybody else, left. They say came back with a red shirt on, tiptoed through the alley, and went right and started shooting. So to me, that's premeditated.
And some other notable people, including a victim who was killed in Vegas, Williams' family.
Yeah, they was doing the investigation and they wanted to take their DNA. He wouldn't give them his DNA, so they had to serve him a search warrant to get his DNA. They tested my brother Bill.
Okay, so that's bad work.
Now, some people think that the family talking about this case might have been what sent the feds knocking at Big U's door, but that's far from the case. The feds, they had Big U and his affiliates under their scope since the early 2010s, many years before Williams' murder. His death was just the icing on the cake. Operation Drawdown. Big U on the run from the feds?
But the search is on for the man they say has been heading up the local Crips gang for decades, Eugene Henley Jr. Investigators say he's been painting himself as an entertainment executive who's been giving back to the community with various charities. But they say in reality, he's a violent criminal, the leader of the Crips with a long list of crimes on his resume.
On March 19th of 2025, the FBI and other federal officials, including the IRS, announced Operation Drawdown, the result of an investigation that spanned several years. The investigation, which included wiretaps and recordings, uncovered a crime network that the Rolling 60 Crips supposedly orchestrated.
An enterprise engaged in murder, extortion, robbery, human trafficking, COVID fraud, and other felonies. Mr. Henley and several other individuals linked to him and his criminal enterprise were charged in a criminal complaint with federal racketeering conspiracy.
The gang, led by Big U, functions as a mafia-like organization, with the office stating that he and the Rolling 60 Crips engaged in crimes that range from murder and robbery to extortion and fraud. Yeah, as another big part of Big U's grip in Los Angeles, it's alleged victims were required to check in with Big U before arriving in the city in order to obtain protection. Among those, Big U allegedly extorted were professional athletes and musicians, like Shaq and DJ Khaled. All this was allegedly led by supposed anti-gang activist and purported music entrepreneur.
That's crazy, because we all know checking in means extortion. You gotta be a damn fool. You go check in with some gang leader, drug dealer, whoever he's supposed to be. Nigga, I got money, nigga. I'm going to enjoy myself. I am not checking in with nothing. You think you just gonna check in and just be like, hey, how you doing? I'm here. You know, what's up? No, nigga, you gonna have to drop something in the hat. You gonna have to drop some money. 10,000, 20,000. They can tell you to check in for protection. Protection ain't free. They want you to bring what you got. You got to bring some money to the table. So you checking in as a grown-ass man with money, you was a damn fool. I wouldn't check in with nothing. But the goddamn police, I call the police and check in with their ass. I look like grown-ass man go talking to some damn gang leader. And I got money, nigga, please. I'm gonna have my own private security, nigga.
Big U, who was nothing more than a violent street criminal, said a United States attorney. And honestly, it's looking bad for a lot of the members in custody.
He's on there, Lil Cannon in jail, Brick Baby in jail, my big homie in jail, Hop in jail, Blueface in jail, Kyra in jail, you put Ronnie Mac in jail, Barry Clark. Man, it's a lot.
In total, law enforcement officers in the last 24 hours arrested 10 Rolling 60 Crip members and associates who were charged with various federal crimes. Some of the notable names include Big Baby, a prominent figure in the hip-hop scene and a no-jumper co-host, and Loose Cannon, who's been charged with robbery. The other arrested alleged members face a variety of charges, including violations of the RICO Act, bank fraud, and prostitution-related crimes. Big U, who remains at large, faced the most severe charges, including murder and violations of the RICO Act, which on conviction is punishable by life in prison. Like I already mentioned, initially the public perceived his organization as a wholesome group that wanted the best for the community. But Big U allegedly duped the county of Los Angeles by running a charitable organization that promoted anti-gang solutions while continuing criminal activity that was directly contrary to his charity. According to an affidavit filed from 2010 to present, Big U's criminal group, identified in court documents as Big U Enterprise, operated as a mafia-like organization that utilizes stature and long-standing association with the Rolling 60 Crip and other street gangs to intimidate businesses and individuals in Los Angeles. While Big U Enterprises at times partner with the Rolling 60s and other criminal elements, the Big U Enterprise is a distinct and independent criminal enterprise engaged in criminal activity. And Big U, it was allegedly doing it all. One example of his activities included him allegedly submitting a fraudulent application for a COVID-19 pandemic relief loan in which he claimed that Unique Music operated at a $200,000 profit in 2019, despite operating at a $5,000 loss that year, which would have disqualified it from loan eligibility. The feds say he also had a heavy hand in drug operations throughout Los Angeles that included drugs like meth and cocaine. With the affidavit saying not only did the enterprise expand its power through violence, fear, and intimidation, but it also used social media platforms, documentaries, podcasts, interviews, and Big U's reputation and status as an OG to create fame for and stoke fear of Big U Enterprise, its members, and its associates. Nipsey Hussle and Lil Shitty. I was the last person to think Big U had anything to do with Nipsey Hussle's death. We assumed Lil Shitty was a crash dummy who took out Nipsey on some hating shit. But after all this is coming to light, it definitely makes you double back on what played out when Nipsey died and shit. Even before that, it's like, damn, Lil Shitty was definitely a crash out, but who was he crashing out for? It's well known at this point that Big Baby is in custody after Operation Drawdown due to his involvement with Big U. They're both from the same gang, and Brick has shot a Big U out on several occasions and lets it be known how close he is with him. But a lot more facts about this situation draws Big Baby a lot closer to Nipsey Hussle's death. First off, Big Baby's gang name was Shitty, and Eric Holder, the killer of Nipsey Hussle, who was also known as Lil Shitty, was Brick's Lil Homie. With that being said, it's alleged that Rolling 60 Crip member called Loose Cannon a couple minutes before Nipsey Hussle's death and told him Nipsey Hussle had got killed. But obviously, there's no way to confirm any of this, so it's just all rumors at this point. But with Brick Baby and Loose Cannon in custody, because of their ties to Big U, this situation is definitely looked at from a different light now. I'm not saying there's any connection between the three when it comes to Nip's murder, but it's definitely something that's ringing bells now this operation is going down. What do y'all think, though? Did Big U order Lil Shitty to carry out a hit on Nipsey for financial gains, or is it just rumor? Y'all let me know in the comments. Let's have a conversation about it. Is Big U cooked? Okay, so let's be clear that Big U is innocent of all these crimes until proven guilty in a trial. But if I'm being frank, I think this thing might be cooked, y'all. We all know at this point that the feds have an over 90% conviction rate. So if they coming for you, they most likely have some hard evidence against you. And from what we can see, they have a lot of shit on them. A big one is DNA banned from evidence that may tie Big U to the murder of Williams. The family alleged that the police informed them that Big U's DNA was found under the nails of Williams, meaning that he fought for his life. And with Big U coming back to the studio sweaty at 3 a.m., it would make sense. When it comes to the PPP loan situation, maybe you can say his identity was stolen or all the information was forged. But when it comes to the drugs, unfortunately, in a RICO case, even if the drugs wasn't in his possession, he could still be convicted for those and a lot of other charges if he and members of his enterprise were found guilty. With him building a run, I'm sure Big U was getting his ordeals in order, like getting a good lawyer and getting a good storyline. But this is going to be a hell of a case to fight. I personally can't say anything bad about Big U because I don't know. But the way people like Whack 100 and even Black Sam paint him makes him seem like a cold-blooded individual. With rumors of him being a knockout artist in his older days, to him being accused of being a ruthless killer today by authorities and the victim's family, Big U's image has always been associated with violence, regardless of his efforts to put these activities in the dark with his charities and community work. A U.S. attorney says, Big U has maintained an image of an entertainment industry entrepreneur running a music label and of somebody who gives back to the community here in Los Angeles. While also adding, the facts alleged in the complaint paint a very different picture though. It's alleged of one a murderer, a thief, a liar, and a cheat. But what do y'all think though? Was Big U the man the feds were paying him to be? Or was this just a big misunderstanding? Y'all let me know in the comments.
Look, man, that's crazy. Real crazy. Look, the gang life, the street life, that ain't it. I know it may look appealing. You know, you see these guys getting money, not having jobs, seem like they just kicking it, cooling it every day, you know, living a life. But you gonna have some hard days, man, some long, hard days in prison. Okay, that's if you lucky and you don't get fucking killed. Because look, it's all good. Like Jay-Z saying that song, it's all good just a week ago. Goddamn, when y'all balling, everybody on top. Like what Young Dolph say in that song, he say, everybody screaming gang, gang, but when them indictments come, they gonna tell on the whole gang. Don't nobody wanna go to jail. And niggas gonna start doing whatever best for them not to go to prison. They baby moms, they mothers, they friends gonna start telling them, oh, we need you around, this and that. Nigga don't never take care of his kids to see his kids, but now all of a sudden that indictment come and he trying to weigh whether or not he should tell. Yeah, I miss my kids. I got to see my kids. Now you want to be a damn family man when that indictment hit. So keep that in mind. Don't nobody want to go to jail. It's all fun when everybody balling, having money, women, cars, clothes. But when that indictment come, everybody gonna do what's best for them to stay out of prison and get at least time as they possibly can. Remember that. Always know that. Okay, this was Cali's Most Dangerous channel. I just found this guy yesterday. I subscribed to him. Like the video. I'm gonna leave a link to this video and his channel in the description box. Like this video and give me a subscribe. I'm trying to grow this channel, and please help me out. Until next time, I catch y'all later. Peace.